Oh, hello! Welcome to Alyssa Jean's Reviews, and this is my review for Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 3, Episodes 5 through 8. So I already did a video covering the first 4 episodes of Season 3, so this video is going to focus on the second half of the season, although I will also give my thoughts on the overall season and give my rating out of 10 for the overall season at the end of this video. So spoiler warning, of course, blah blah blah. I don't know why you would click on this if you had not already seen those episodes. So yeah, this is going to focus on the last 4 episodes, but what I have to say about the last 4 episodes kind of encompasses my feelings for the entire season and, quite frankly, for the entire series thus far. So I've heard a lot of opinions out there that Season 3 is a downgrade from Seasons 1 and 2. A lot of people are disappointed in it. I even heard one YouTuber, I believe it was Heavy Spoilers, talking about how he could see that maybe people will drop off like they did in Westworld, even though he agrees with me that Westworld's Seasons 3 and 4 were not terrible and he liked them, but he could see that the fans could drop off of Mandalorian like they did for Westworld's after Seasons 1 and 2 because of how different it is from what they started doing. And I've heard a lot of opinions like that. I heard it's a lot different, that it's downgrade, that it's not as good. And I say poppycock. It is exactly the same show that has been since minute 1 of episode 1 in season 1, and that's not a good thing. It's a mediocre thing. It is as equally as mediocre as it's ever been, and that is my problem with it. My problem is not that season 3 has gotten worse. My problem is season 3 is exactly the same quality as the first 2 seasons and has the exact same problem as the first 2 seasons. And this is especially true of episodes 5 through 8. So that problem is that The Mandalorian always diverges way too much from the overarching story, the serialized story of the season, for side quests, which leads to the quality of the show completely depending on the quality of each of these side quests. And the problem is, most of the side quests suck, especially in season 1. I do not understand why people thought season 1 was good. All he does is do the plot of the 7th Samurai over and over again. The one with the kid that betrayed him, that was so dumb. The one with Cara Dune, the original one, dumb. 7th Samurai plot, so stupid. I never understood why people thought that this was a good show. It is only good when it actually sticks to the serialized formula, when it gets into the main story, then it becomes more interesting. But even then, it's still not the best thing ever. Now, when it comes to season 3, and particularly the second half of season 3, the biggest downfall of The Mandalorian is that it did not focus enough on this year's main storyline, which is the most interesting one they've had, which is the Mandalorian storyline with Bo-Katan. And her trying to regain leadership and also bringing together both sects of the actually 3 different sects actually it ends up being of the Mandalorian people, and trying to unite them, and had a great line about how the Mandalorians have always been their own worst enemy, or something along those lines. Great stuff with that, but they didn't do it nearly enough. They didn't go into nearly enough detail for it. Instead, they go off on these stupid side quests. Sometimes the side quests are good, and that's probably why I think season 2 stands out to me as the best season, because it had the best side quests. I think the Ahsoka episode is probably one of my favorites. I think the one where they go to where Boba Fett first comes in. I think episode 6 or 7 of last season. was really good too. So when the side quests are good, then that's fine, but the quality of the show hinges on the quality of the side quests, and it's annoying. And the show will never be what I was hoping it would be in season 3, foolishly. And it'll never be what I would want the show to be, which would be to really focus in on the Mandalorian lore, and the mythosaur and the Darksaber. The Darksaber is gone now, but that sort of thing, and like bringing the Mandalorian people together, the conflicts of the Mandalorian people. And I love Bo-Katan being a focus. Some people were saying that they didn't like that the focus shifted from Din Djarin to Bo-Katan, and I'd say Din Djarin is still very much the main character. The show ended with him. He's still very, so I don't buy that Bo-Katan has become the main character. Din Djarin very much is, but I do really enjoy what we do get with Bo-Katan, and I think what I would love, actually, is for them to just do a Bo-Katan show. I don't think they're going to, but just do a Bo-Katan show, no side quests, just hone in specifically on all the Mandalorian lore and the people and get to know those characters in depth and detail and really get in the nitty-gritty of all that. I would love that so much, and for some weird reason I thought season 3 of Mandalorian would do that. Of course not, because it's the same show it's always been, going on these silly side quests. Now, after all that rambling, let me actually get into episodes 5 through 8, which is what I said this video was going to be about. So episode 5, I think, was a good side quest. That's the one where they go to rescue Navarre from the pirates. And although I found the pirates a bit silly, what I do love about this episode is the character stuff, because we care about Grieve Karva now. We've watched this character develop over the last 3 seasons. We care about the fate of Navarre. And also, in addition, we're having to bring these two sects of the Mandalorians together. They're having to Bo-Katan is teaming up with the children, and they're going off together, and they're finding a new home. And that was all really good. I think there was a lot of character-based stuff that I liked. And we do get some of the New Republic stuff, which some people complained about, but I did like. I do feel overall, with episode 3 and then also with the second half of the season, the New Republic stuff does feel a little shoehorned in, and I did hear the theory that this is the stuff they wanted to do for the Rangers of the New Republic show that ended up getting scrapped because What's-Her-Nuts made some... was it homophobic comments? I forget what she did, but she made some awful comments and then got fired, and so that show got scrapped. And so the theory is a lot of the plot elements of that show kind of got pushed into this show. That would make sense, because I do feel like some of it got shoehorned in, even though I did find it interesting. And of course, I love seeing live action Zeb. That was I was cheering about that. So episode 5 overall, good side quest. Episode 6, horrible side quest. Horrible, 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 horrible. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? This is fucking Scooby-Doo. It's not even a good episode of Scooby-Doo. So what that episode should have been was the beginning scene and the ending scene with Bo-Katan trying to bring back her former proteges back into the fold. It should have been the beginning scene and ending scene with more detail. I don't know these characters. We barely saw them last season, and I still know nothing about them, and yet I'm expected to care about them. And instead of spending an episode establishing them, getting me to know them, let's see more than just them saving... or going to get, what do you call Admiral Akbar's species? That was really interesting, going to, get those star-crossed lovers, and they have to bring that prince back, and that, let's see more of that, more, let's get deep into those characters. I want to know those characters so that I care about them, because I don't care about them, because they wasted the whole episode with this fucking Scooby-Doo plot, where Christopher Lloyd ends up in handcuffs at the end, and says, I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you nosy Mandalorians. I mean, it was a Scooby-Doo plot. It was so dumb, where we could have been spending time developing characters who are important to the story so that we care about them, and they didn't do that, so it drove me crazy. And by the way, I do not care about the Jack Black and Lizzo and Christopher Lloyd cameos. They don't bother me. That was not my issue with it. I know a lot of people complained about the cameos. Cameos were fine. It was the fact that they took away from such a potential gold mine of character development and did a stupid, pointless Scooby-Doo plot that was so dumb. So that was my problem with episode 6. So again, we are dependent on the side quest. Now, when it comes to episodes 7 and 8, however, traditionally those episodes do wrap up the main storyline. They have done so every season. And I think almost every season I don't remember season 1. I have to rewatch season 1. But I know in season 2 and in season 3, my favorite episodes are season 7. The episodes that are setting up for the finale. It's not all the action, but we're digging more into the character stuff. This is when Grogu gets the IG-12 suit and goes, yes, 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 no, no, no. That was great. This is when Bo-Katan had a great line that I mentioned earlier where they were all sitting down and she explains what happened in the Purge and how she surrendered, which is something we didn't know. That was all interesting. And she had that great line about how the Mandalorians have always been their own downfall because they always fight each other. And if they would just unite and stand together, nobody can stop them. I thought that was a great line. So that's when we're digging into the character stuff. That's when Din Djarin says to Bo-Katan, I would follow you anywhere. And that was good stuff. Good stuff. So episode 7, best episode of the season because of the character stuff. And I feel like that is the case every season. Now, the finale was fine. And this is how I feel about every finale. It was fine. I like that they wrapped things up nicely. They wrapped up the story. I think Grogu got more to do in the finale. We've got Din Djarin ending up on his little ranch in Westworld, it would look like to me, and hanging out in the front porch. But the stories are wrapped up. Bo-Katan gets to light up the Great Forge, and the Mandalorian people are coming back together. That's all good stuff. That's nice. Like that stuff. But the finale of season 3 can be summed up very briefly in the same exact way that I could sum up the finales of season 1 and season 2. So here it is, my quick summary of all 3 finales. Here it is. Pew, 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 pew. Moff Gideon is defeated. Yay! That's it. That's it. All 3 of them. Pew, 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 pew. Action, action, action. Pew, 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 pew. Let's defeat Moff Gideon. We win. And then he comes back next season and let's defeat him again. How many fucking times are they going to defeat Moff Gideon? Can he now be gone for good? I mean, they kind of made it appear that he's dead now, but if they bring him back, I'm going to be so irritated. Like, just kill him off already. Like, every season he gets defeated. Every season finale. And it's all a bunch of action stuff. And I'm not saying the action stuff is bad. This is fine. I just don't think it's anything amazing. It's not what I watch the show for. It's not what I care about. I care about the character stuff, which they completely put by the wayside so that they can go pew, pew, pew. And I know some people were excited about getting the first live-action Mandalorian battles. We've seen a lot of that in the Clone Wars where they're all flying around their jetpacks and getting into battles. I mean, I'm fine. I mean, it's okay. Well, I mean, I don't have any strong feelings about that one way or the other. I mean, it's not something that gets me excited. That's not why I watch television, to watch a bunch of people in jetpacks shooting guns. Like, it's not bad. It's just fine. But it's not what I get excited for. So, I don't know. The finale is fine. It's just the same as the previous 2. That's why it boggles my mind when people say that there's a difference between season 3 and seasons 1 and 2 when all 3 finales are precisely the same thing. The same exact formula. Bunch of shooting guns and action and fighting scenes, and then Moff Gideon is defeated again. Stop it! I am certainly not excited about season 4. It looks like he's going to go off on a bunch of side quests, wrangling up Imperial remnants for the New Republic. Not interested. I'll watch it, but I will not be fooled again. I came into this season being fooled and thinking they were going to do something different. I will not be fooled. It will be the same old crap, same old mediocre crap. Now, Ahsoka, maybe I'm a little naive, but I feel like Ahsoka could be different, even though it's by the same creative team. One of the cast members, I think it was the woman who plays the new female Jedi character with the orange lightsaber. I think it was her who said that it's like an 8-hour movie, and I hope that that's true, because if it's an 8-hour movie, then that means it's serialized, and that's what I want, and it won't have all these side quests. So I'm gonna hold out a little bit of hope for Ahsoka, that it's not The Mandalorian, that it is a different show. And in my wildest dreams, I will wish for a Bo-Katan-centric show that is separate from The Mandalorian, that just focuses in on the things that I wanted this season to focus in on, that was largely ignored, like all the history of the Mandalorians and the conflict amongst the people, and actually getting character development amongst those characters, and that sort of thing. With all the frantic and raving, you might think that my rating out of 10 is going to be low. It is not. We'll go ahead and move to that section of the video now so we can wrap things up. My rating out of 10 for The Mandalorian Season 3, with 1 being the lowest score, 10 being the highest possible score. My rating out of 10 is a 7, which I believe is the same thing I gave to the previous 2 seasons. Mediocre, mediocre, mediocre. 7 is like my standard rating for a show that I enjoyed, I had fun with. There were a lot of great things in it, some good character development, a lot of things I really loved, but my overall feeling is meh. And that is exactly how I feel about all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian. This one is no different. It is no better, no worse. As I said, I still think Season 2 probably has the slight edge, because I think it had better side quest episodes than the other 2 seasons, but only slightly better. I think mostly they're all a solid 7. The entire series is a solid 7 of meh. It's fine. But Mandalorian continues, especially the first 2 seasons, continue to be some of the more overrated seasons out there. Alright, so that's it for this review. I will be back in August to review Ahsoka, so I can't wait for Ahsoka. Hopefully it'll be a little better than what The Mandalorian is. I'm also covering Star Trek Picard. I've got 1 more episode left of that to review. I will be covering all Star Trek shows, and I've got a Star Trek Top 100 coming out soon, 25 episodes at a time. So check that all out and subscribe if you have not already. And I will see you next time.